Your take on the importance of this. What can you tell us about the Genius Act and how this will impact financial services?
When you think about where we are today, the United States is relying on a payments system that was designed in the 70s and 80s. This is an opportunity to modernize our payment system, take us into the 21st century.
Now you add all this up, and the total is $530 trillion possibly running on the XRP ledger. So let's lowball it and say that XRP only got 1% of the 5.5 quadrillion volume. That would give it a market cap of 55 trillion. And price equals market cap divided by circulating supply. So that would be 55 trillion divided by 58 billion. Circulating supply gives you a price of $943.
I've kind of said that we're in the digital asset space, we're kind of, to use a metaphor, ready for takeoff.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags, and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? If you got a baggie, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. Shout out to Let Us Up. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We got XRP currently right around 242. We got Cointelegraph to pop things off. XRP Ledger, the Euro P. Cointelegraph latest Euro P becomes the first MiCA compliant Euro stablecoin integrated on the XRP Ledger, enabling regulated Euro settlements, DeFi, and tokenized assets on the XRP Ledger. BTC who? ETH who? The good news keeps on rolling. First U.S. XRP futures ETF begins trading on NASDAQ. The fund will invest at least 80% of its assets in the XRP futures contracts and shares of other XRP link exchange traded products. May 22nd. Volatility Shares launched the first non-leveraged U.S. listed ETF tracking XRP futures traded under the ticker XRPI on NASDAQ. The ETF carries a net expensive ratio of 0.94% and invests primarily in XRP futures and XRP linked exchange traded products. The second product, a leveraged 2x XRP futures ETF, is also in the works as interest in XRP based funds grows. RippleX Dev, Schumann IO, Financial Euro P becomes the first MiCA compliant Euro stablecoin on the XRP ledger, a key step towards compliant stablecoin adoption and enabling tokenized real world assets and on-chain finance in Europe. All roads lead to the bridge. XRP, Schumann Financial Euro stablecoin runs on XRP. Crypto80 says official press release from Ripple, first MiCA compliant Euro stablecoin on the XRP ledger. We're proud to work with companies like Schumann Financial to lay the foundation for enterprise grade infrastructure that supports Europe's blockchain economy, says Casey Craddock of MD UK and Europe at Ripple. Subject views: Swift is excited for the tokenized futures and says we're ready for takeoff to infinity and beyond.
What would you say are the biggest challenges facing the industry then as we move towards a more tokenized future?
Well, I think there's undoubtedly real excitement about the potential of this tokenized future. I've kind of said that we're in the digital asset space, we're kind of, to use a metaphor, ready for takeoff, which is another way of saying that in innovation, you classically see a sort of what we might call an S-curve of adoption. So slow start, then steepens as it becomes change that is being adopted and then gradually flattens off.
U.S. Senate Banking Committee, the Genius Act will protect consumers, bolster national security, and expand financial inclusion across the country.
Real quick, I know you're paving the way for historic digital asset legislation, the Genius Act. You're the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, and I want to get your take on the importance of this. What can you tell us about the Genius Act and how this will impact financial services?
Well, for single moms like the one that raised me, we're talking about reducing the price and democratizing our economy. Great news. President Trump simply said on the campaign trail, America will be the crypto capital of the world. This may be a major part of his legacy when we make it easier for the struggling Americans working paycheck to paycheck to have more access at a lower price point. Stablecoins in the Genius Act is the first step, historic step, towards making America more affordable for everyday Americans. It's another great reason this is a good day in America.
And it also feels like the banks are finally, caving on this. They didn't really want the competition, did they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody hates competition when you have a monopoly, and the one thing we'll say about the banks is they came to the table, we worked constructively. There are some parts of the bill that eliminates the possibility of yield and interest. That was a key component of getting the banks to be neutral on the bill. But this bill must go forward because it's good news for the American people, especially ones living in poverty.
All right. Senator, it's great to see you. Thank you.
USA runs on Ripple, XRP, banks, institutions on the way to pump our bags up. Senator Bill Haggerty, the baseless opposition to the Genius Act is nothing but a distraction. I think this is just a red herring. The fact is that so many in the American public want to see the Genius Act pass and bring the United States payment system into the 21st century using XRP, faster, cheaper, more efficient.
She's absolutely wrong. And what she's doing is using a political argument to stir up controversy because she's been focused on the central bank digital currency. By its nature, this is decentralized. She's been opposed to this from the beginning. She fought this in the banking committee. And after close to 4 hours of debate in the banking committee, she was able to hold 4 Democrats on her side, but 5 came over with me and voted for us to put this out of committee. I see a lot of Democrats that see the benefit of this. And if you think about where we are today, the United States is relying on a payments system that was designed in the 70s and 80s. This is an opportunity to modernize our payment system, take us into the 21st century. We trade securities on an instantaneous basis. This would allow us to move currencies and payments at the same rate. It would be based on the U.S. dollar. That will extend dollar dominance around the world. It will actually stimulate demand for U.S. treasuries, which, given where we are right now, would be a very positive thing in the marketplace. It's going to protect consumers. These ethics concerns that Senator Warren is raising are dealt with in the Constitution. I think this is just a red herring. It's a distraction. She needs to focus on the core of this, and the fact is, I think she just doesn't like the decentralized nature of it, which is exactly why it's so powerful, and that's why so many in the American public want to see this happen and bring the United States payment system into the 21st century.
They said XRP was a security. Now XRP front and center. All the dominoes are falling into place. XRP, the chosen one. It's no wonder they wanted you out. We got Donald Trump heading to crypto dinner in Virginia in a little while. The USA is dominated in crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, and we're going to keep it that way. Made in America. Xerpies. Cointelegraph today, crypto czar David Sachs says, I think for all of these reasons, the stablecoin bill is going to pass. It's going to pass with significant bipartisan support.
Well, so first of all, we have significant bipartisan support for this. I think 15 Democrats voted for the bill to pass this key procedural threshold of cloture, which means there'll be no filibuster against the bill. We have every expectation now that it's going to pass. And I think the reason it's going to pass is because stablecoins offer a new, more efficient, cheaper, smoother payment system, new payment rails for the U.S. economy. It also extends the dominance of the dollar online, and it also creates billions of dollars or trillions of dollars of demand for our treasuries. So I think for all these reasons, the stablecoin bill is going to pass, and it's going to pass with significant bipartisan support.
Meanwhile, interesting here from Crypto Eddie, Chris Larson, Ripple chairman, backs the first U.S. machine to turn air into gasoline. Not kidding, debuts in NYC. The company was founded in 2019 by Mia and Eric D. and is backed by Chris Larson, founder of Ripple Labs. It's designed to produce fossil-free gasoline. The machine pulls CO2 directly from the atmosphere and converts it into fuel that fully is compatible with today's engines. No modifications required. Mustache, altcoins, alt season 2025. The party hasn't even really started yet. 2017, 2021. Once again, it's coming. Crypto Insight UK, XRP weekly RSI. Bullish. Cross, extra. Bullish. Credible Bull Crypto, as excited as I am about my other holdings and their upside potential in the coming months. There's still no other altcoin in the space that has lower time frame impulsive structures as clean as XRP has had off its lows. The chop consolidation we're seeing on XRP in the $2 range is not a cause for concern. The longer we chop in this tight range, the more explosive the next leg up will be. The bigger the base, higher in space. From a wave perspective, the next leg up on XRP is akin to the wave up we saw on BTC that took us from 25K to 74K wave 3. So a tight consolidation prior to this massive move up is to be expected. Welcome, XRP, the next leg up. Dark Defender on November 4th, XRP had a golden cross on the weekly RSI we warned in October. Today, XRP RSI has produced the same signal after 200 days. XRP is targeting 333 in the short term and is expected to fire the bullet, which will then likely flatten itself against the 585 parapet. Our targets are clear, road to victory. We got latest from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin hits a new all-time high at around 111, 112K as a mean dollar age drops on-chain data signals. Bull cycle, acceleration, crypto bull 2020, XRP, April, May, June, July top, August, September, October, November. And taking a look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, well, we have a top here in July. If we go back to the previous cycles, from the July 2016 halving date, from the top here was around 550 days for this bull cycle. Then we went into the bear market here at around 825 days. From the May 20 halving cycle date here to the top took another 550 days for this bull cycle. Then we went into the next bear market here, which was again another 875 days. And here we are in our current BTC halving cycle, which recently passed April of 2024. We take around that same amount of time at around 500 days from the previous two cycles. 500 days from the April 2024 halving date would take us into the fall of 2025, would be around October, November 2025, and then we should enter into another bear cycle unless we shift into a utility cycle. Will our current cycle end in July, around 100 days shorter than the previous two cycles, or will we go into the fall of 2025? What are your thoughts down below? As you see here, Bitcoin breached a new all-time high here going into the second week of November, and then we had a top off here for Bitcoin December 16th. Then we had another top off here for Bitcoin going into January, right around January 19th, January 20th. XRP chart, XRP actually did start to move around the same time as BTC. As you see here, the first week of November is when XRP began its run up to around $2, $3. XRP hit that $3 top around December 2nd, 2024. And as we go back to Bitcoin here, Bitcoin topped off around 2 weeks later, around December 16th. XRP had its second peak at around $3.40 here at around January 16th. Bitcoin topped here at around January 20th. With that being said, tell me why I shouldn't be loading up on XRP right now.
Let's go. All Japanese banks using XRP, 25 trillion. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, 3 quadrillion. SWIFT, 1.5 quadrillion. The top 10 US banks, 12.5 trillion. Tokenization, 2 trillion. MasterCard, 9 trillion. Visa, 16 trillion. Derivatives market, 1 quadrillion. American Express, 1 trillion. And the new deal with Hidden Road, 3 trillion. Now you add all this up, and the total is 5 quadrillion, $530 trillion, possibly running on the XRP ledger. So let's lowball it and say that XRP only got 1% of the 5.5 quadrillion volume. That would give it a market cap of 55 trillion. And price equals market cap divided by circulating supply. So that would be 55 trillion divided by 58 billion. Circulating supply gives you a price of $943. That's at 1%. Let's say they got 10%. That would be a market cap of 550 trillion, which in the end gives you a price of $9,438. So then let's just split it right down the middle. They get 5%. That would end up being a price of $4,719. So the volume numbers of all these partnerships are fairly accurate, but the outcomes are very highly dependent on many factors, like the big one. How much will XRP be in demand?
It only takes a small piece of the prize to take us to the promised land. The longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Richless, where will those bags be when that regulation jar molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? We'll catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP bagman, the moon commander. BYOB, bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on the likey button. See you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Hey, told you missed it. Them riches jump off that ghost train. Totally good, now we blasting up off this third plane. Took the cheats and the codes and now we all run the game. Spit be splitting them split ups, deep state they getting drained. Jump in the pool of all these gains. Jumping, we shooting in slow motion like we Max Payne. We flipping, getting digits, 589K, we in this. Yeah, we wealthy, filthy, rich in this bitch. And these hoes don't know it. You didn't notice that we ghosting this hoe. They feel the tune it, you need a tune up. Hoping that they freaking hear it and you tune it. Ayy, 4-3 to earth and we moving like we the frequency. Bagging these bags and now we living that so equally. Adam and Eve, they GMO the apples. Batman back in this 4-3-2 and all the samples. Jump on that saddle, we waking up all the cows.